This is Employment Opportunities. I'm your host, Randy Clark. And if you happen to miss the show this morning, I hope you don't, but if you want to catch it later, you can always go to the WIL Facebook page or go to YouTube, WIL TV 47. And we got a special guest with us this morning. This is Miss Cassidy
Elliff.
Elliff.
There you go. Yes.
I was about to say it wrong.
That's right. No, you're fine.
This is
yes.
Cassidy Elliff,
yes.
and she is the Teacher of the Year for Sylacauga High School.
Yes.
What a great honor.
I know. I'm so excited. It is truly a blessing beyond.
Now,
yes.
Let's just get comfortable. I
Yes.
hear that they call you Cass.
They do. They
May
do.
I call you Cass?
Absolutely. Yes,
All right,
sir. You
Cass.
sure can. Yes, sir.
Tell me, kind of, what brought this Teacher of the Year on? I mean, you must be really special.
I know. Well, I truly, I've said this before and I'll say it again, I truly think we have some of the best kids at Sylacauga High School. I mean, we truly have kids that are ready to learn, that want to learn, that not only are, ready to learn, but also just are so lovable and just so kind. And they are the reason I show up every day. They are the reason I clock in the mornings and clock out in the afternoons. I mean, they are truly my why. So to be awarded this is such an honor because I truly love my kids and I tell them that every day. So I'm very blessed.
It probably goes both ways.
Yeah, yes.
Because you can get bored in a classroom too. But I
right.
don't think your classrooms are boring.
I know. I try my hardest not to. I try to wake them up and get them excited about learning because, yeah.
Cass, can you tell us a little something about yourself, as in your immediate family and anybody else you want to tell us about?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Cassidy Elliff. I'm married to Jake Elliff. He also teaches at Sylacauga High School, and he is also a blessing to those students. If you talk to any of those other students as well, they'll also bring up him. So he is a very special. I wish I could share this award with him because he is truly a great teacher and truly a great person as well. So I'm married to him. We have 2 4-year-olds, twins, that are very rambunctious, very big personality, but their names are Hattie and Kellen. My daughter was born deaf, so she has cochlear implants. She attends the wonderful school of Alabama School for the Deaf in a program known as the Listening Spoken Language Program. So I tell everybody, I'm like, we are so blessed to have that in our county, in our community. Close. I know it is a blessing, and her teachers, I always want to give them a shout out. They're wonderful. But I'm married to Jake. Both of my parents, I'm from North Alabama, so I'm not originally from Sylacauga. But my dad is a baseball coach. Mom is also a school teacher. My in-laws are Kristen and Tim Elliff. I know they're very involved in the community, so a lot of people know who they are. Very blessed to have them. They are truly our superhero. Both my parents and them as well. Hattie and Kellen lucked out on the grandparent department, so very blessed.
I got to give a shout out to Kristen.
I know.
Because every time I even think about picking up litter around Sylacauga,
she'll be there.
She's the first
one.
That's
it, and she won't be late.
I think she's a mind reader because when I got a clean up plan, she calls me.
She's the first one. That's it.
Right, and the Church of the Highlands, they're so involved.
I know, they are.
I love their surf program.
Absolutely,
All right.
They are. Yes.
Now, what grades do you teach at Sylacauga?
Yes, I teach 10th grade and 11th grade U.S. history. I teach general 10th grade, general 11th grade, and then I actually teach AP U.S. history, so that's AP 10th grade as well.
Okay,
so
great.
Teach all the different subjects and all that stuff. So I'm very, very diverse.
That's right.
Yeah.
How long you been teaching, Cass?
Yes, this would have been my 8th year of teaching. I took a year off whenever I found out I was pregnant with twins. Little crazy times for sure. But this is my 7th year of teaching.
Okay.
Yes.
You've been there a while.
I have. I know. I haven't taught at Sylacauga High School for 7 years. My husband and I have moved all over the place. We've had different job relocations and things like that. But this is my 4th year at Sylacauga High School.
4th year.
So yes, and I'm so fortunate.
you get attached to those students and you hate to see them.
I do. I know. I hate. It's bittersweet, you know, whenever graduation happens and I watch these seniors that some of them I've been with since the 10th grade, and when they walk across that stage, I do. I cry a lot because I'm excited for them, but also I'm very sad because they have to move on, and so do I with allowing them to move on. So
to be honest with you, Cass, that's one of the reasons you got chose Teacher of the Year, because you care so much about your students.
Thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate that. I do.
Now, I heard you say that education kind of runs in the family.
It does, yes.
Well, who actually influenced you to becoming a teacher?
Yes, so when I was growing up, my mother, she actually teaches 11th grade English up in North Alabama, and I watched the impact of her from the time I was a little girl till, you know, even till now, because she's actually still teaching in her 60s, and is still late 60s and is still teaching. She'll probably get mad at me for saying that, for revealing her age, but she is, though. She truly impacted those students and loved them and gave them skills that not only helped them in their 4 years of high school, but in life. And, you know, to see them come back and say, you know, when I run into them, they'll say, you know, your mom has saved me. You know, I wouldn't have been able to done a college essay without her, or your mom did this, or your mom said this. So watching her, I said, I want to do that. I want to be like her. So.
And what school does she teach at?
Yes, so I'm from Coleman, actually. So she teaches at Coleman High School.
She teaches at Coleman High School?
She does, yes.
Well, I think they might get her shot.
That's
hey, Mom.
Hey, Mom. That's right, yes.
Okay. And so you've already mentioned, but let's tell it again. What subjects do you teach?
Yes, so I teach U.S. history. I teach 10th and 11th grade, and that's kind of been my go-to. I used to teach English. I taught English actually for my first couple of years. Again, wanted to be like my mom. She's an English teacher. Right. And then when I transitioned into history, I'll never go back. I love history so much, so that's become my thing. Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of Daybreak, we have a Today in History.
Yeah.
Every morning.
Absolutely.
And I love that.
Oh, absolutely. It's so interesting to see how everything, you know, it's full circle. It always comes back. Yeah.
And history and math was my favorite subject when I was in school.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of days ago, but I still love history.
That's right.
All right.
Yes.
Now, this is kind of a question I'm sure that, but I can tell with just your energy.
Right.
But I'm going to go ahead and ask you this question. Tell us some of the methods that you use to get the kids interested in your classroom.
Yes, absolutely. So students, especially this, you know, I always joke, I say this younger generation, I know I'm still young, I'm fully aware of that, but this generation is, you know, oftentimes, you know, negative things will be spoken about them, but there are really a lot of great things to offer to this generation. And one thing is that if you can bring the energy into the room, they'll eat it up. They will, you know, they want to match that same energy. And so one thing I try my hardest to do is come in every day with really high energy, with a really positive attitude, with, you know, and I don't want to say I'm not perfect or I'm perfect, and I definitely have days when I might be going through something or maybe I'm off, but I try my hardest of when that bell rings,
you don't
I'm
show
on.
That to your students,
that's it. And I want them to see that, you know, history is amazing and it's so much fun, and they just think it's a bunch of old dudes that died. You know, they don't, you know, being able to teach them the really interesting details about stuff when they light up about it. I think my favorite thing as a teacher is when they will go home and they'll say, Miss Elliff, I was talking to my mom in the car and I was telling her about everything that you talked about today. That's when I just like, you were telling your mom about that? Oh my goodness. And you know, and then they'll bring me stories, you know, especially teaching 11th grade with that, you know, when we teach on Vietnam and everything past that, when they are able to go home and talk to their parents and grandparents about that, they bring me stories. I'm like, I didn't know that. So it's really wonderful.
But if it wasn't for people like you, we need to keep history alive.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because, you know, like our World War I guys and stuff, they're not so much around anymore.
That's right.
World War II guys.
Right.
But we want to keep that history going.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And, you know, I know you teach history but you also teach life lessons too.
That's
don't you?
right. It is, because I actually have a shirt that says, "Don't make me repeat myself," and then it's signed off as history. And so I try to, I'm like, don't make me repeat. As a teacher, we often have to say that, but to see that in history, it's like, well, hold on now, don't make me. We don't. Being able to teach them things and trying not to go back to that. So that's good.
Right. Okay. My last question to you,
Yes.
Cass. What do you hope the kids take away from your class?
Right.
When they move on to be seniors, what do you hope that they learn from you besides life lessons?
Right.
Besides how important it is to get an education?
Right.
Because when there's a little time in there between elementary
Oh, yeah.
and high school. I've had 4 kids. I have 8 grandkids now.
Yeah.
And some of them is in those years where, you kind of get to be a teenager and you think you know everything.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So when they get in your classroom
Right.
and they learn in history, what do you, when they leave your classroom,
Right.
what do you hope that they get out of what you taught them?
Right. I think for me personally, when I think back to when I was in high school, I may not remember a lot of the lessons that were taught, but one thing I do remember is how teachers made me feel. And I pray that when my 10th and 11th graders, when they become seniors, and even after that, I pray that they never forget how loved that they are and how capable that they are. It shocks me whenever I'll be, talking with a student and, they might say negative things about themselves. And I'm like, you think that? I think you're the bee's knees. I think you're the bomb. Why are you saying, And so one thing I always try to do is try to really, truly teach my students that they are so capable and that they are so loved. And one thing I've really tried my hardest to this year is I try to hug as many of my students. I know a lot of them are kind of personal space, hold up now, but this past summer we lost a student. We actually lost 2 students, two Sylacauga High School students, and one of them, Brighton Clary B, she was one of my students, and a week before she passed, she actually was in my room, and I gave her the biggest hug, and I pray, and I wish I could have given her a bigger hug. I wish I could have done more. So when my students leave, I pray that they know 2 things. 1, I'm gonna hug them. Every single time I see them, I'm never gonna not hug them. And then 2, how capable that they are, that truly the sky's the limit. They can do anything that they want. They just have to work hard for it. I pray that they never forget that.
That hug goes so far.
It does. It does, yeah.
You never know what is going on when they're not in your classroom.
Absolutely.
You don't know what goes on before they get to school or after they get home.
Right.
So that might be the only hug they get.
Absolutely.
They might have parents that work all the time.
Right, absolutely.
I'm not saying anything
bad,
but,
absolutely, yeah.
But they need that hug as much as you did.
Yeah, we all need them. I'll hug anybody. So I think that at the end of the day, if I can lay my head, lay my head down in the bed at nighttime, knowing that at least I tried to show love as much as I could, I can sleep well that night. So
I wish I would have had you as a teacher.
You're kind. Yes.
I was kind of puzzled before we did this show about what it takes to be the teacher of the year.
Right.
Well, guess what? I know now.
I know.
I know now why you was chosen the teacher of the year.
Well, thank you so much. It is a blessing, and I pray that I never forget that, that I never take this for granted, because this truly is, this is an honor. I think that every teacher in all of our district, we truly have some of the best teachers in this district that so to be able to have this honor, I'm like, I want to share it with everybody, because I truly think we have some of the best.
Well, I'll tell you, I think you're a fantastic teacher.
Well, thank you.
You're a fantastic person.
Yeah, thank you.
I love your personality.
Well, thank you.
And I'm sure you're very loved at school and at home.
Yes, I know.
And I know your family really loves you. And congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much.
On being Teacher of the Year at Sylacauga High School.
Wonderful.
This is Cassidy Elliff
Yeah.
She's better known as Cass. And if you see her in the hallway at Sylacauga High School, tell her how much you love her, because she surely loves you.
I do. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for
for
having
coming
me.
in.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. See you next time. Thank you.